Alright. Hello, my fine friends. How are you all doing today? I myself am doing well, and in fact, checking out just how the war rages on between the police and the peaceful protesters. Because peaceful protesters do in fact harm cops. That's just the world you live in now. If you are a peaceful protester, you can get away with anything. You can, destroy your neighborhood, you can rob buildings, you can loot and riot and harm officers of the law. So, why shouldn't we defund the police at this point if we're just allowed to do whatever we want under the guise of peaceful protesting? Uh, Now that is some 1984 shit. I swear. You've already seen the title. 18 police officers were hurt in a Chicago protest. We were outnumbered and unprepared, one says. And you'll quickly see how this article spins this back around to attack the police. Throughout, there's many statements collected that are just saying that, oh yeah, the police were tear gassing our peaceful protesters. And that's why we don't want to fuck with language. We want to make it as clear as possible. If we're not all using the same terms, there's no real reason to conversating with each other, and we will eventually reach nowhere. There's lots of arguments breaking out online that are just two people talking past each other because they don't bother to recognize what exactly is the term or mindset the other side is working from. Oh. But I suppose enough about that. We can get straight into the article here. 18 Chicago police officers were injured in a protest Friday, the department said in a statement. A large group gathered for a protest around 4:20 p.m. local time, the department said. Officers were there providing security and protecting their First Amendment right to peacefully assemble, the statement said, which can happen. The police still can do good things. That I know that's such a difficult thought for some left-leaning individuals, for people who just see every police officer as a bad person, the same as Eric Chauvin. But honestly, let's see. Approaching a statue of Christopher Columbus, which now that Trump has signed an executive order that attacking statues now carries with it a minimum of a 10-year sentence in federal prison. Some people in the crowd used rockets, fireworks, frozen bottles, and other objects to attack officers, the statement said. But they're still just peaceful protesters, so they're allowed to do this. The attack resulted in 18 officers injured, the statement said. Some were taken to area hospitals by paramedics for further treatment, and some were treated at the scene. Now, it could have ended up a lot worse. I'm sure that the biggest factor in this is the police not fighting back, because one side escalates and then it's just a constant domino effect of each side taking more space. But at the same time, if the police officers just took this to the ultimate end and quickly just shut these people down with a full show of strength, there doesn't really need to be any of this. Not in the long run. Not in the long run, in my opinion. About 12 people were arrested and could potentially face charges. Only 12, though? Come on. There must have been at least 200 people there. easily they could have found more reasons to charge more people. That may include battery to a police officer, mob action, and other felonies, according to the statement. At a news conference on Saturday, activists demanded the immediate defunding of the police department, which is outright idiocy, but we're allowing it to continue to happen. Because if there's one thing that these people do best, it's screech their perceived problems of the world. We have the right to freedom of assembly. You have the right to peacefully assemble. Why do these people always drop the peacefully assemble part, the peaceful part of the First Amendment? You have no right to attack other people or to even if they're wearing a police officer's uniform or anything of that nature. We have a right to protest. You do, but not the way you've been going about it. What happened yesterday was a travesty. That's what happens in dictatorships. Man, I wish President Trump would go full dictator on these people, because then they will have something legitimate to cry about, but I would still stand behind Trump until these people were properly punished. Ashlyn Pulley with Black Lives Matter Chicago said, adding she saw people beaten by police and officers using tear gas. Amika Tendagji, another member of Black Lives Matter Chicago, said, we cannot body cam our way out of this. We cannot do any kind of reforms to get those people to act with humanity. They must be defunded. And it's clear, statements like that they've already taken away any sense of the officers being police, being human. To them, what do they say? Those people to act with humanity. So as soon as you put on a police officer's uniform to these people, you automatically lose any sense of civility and humanity. Your morals just go out the window. It's impossible for these people to view them as humans once that uniform comes on, and it's just absolutely crazy that people are listening to them. State Senator Robert Peters also called for reform at the news conference. We must get police out of our communities and invest in housing, schools, social services, grocery stores, he said. That is what lifts up our communities. Not when those places get looted, though, because without any police, these places can go up, but they're going to be attacked and taken over by people who are very willing, as we've seen, to take advantage of a no police situation. Mayor Lori Lightfoot confirmed that there were several reports of excessive force by the police. Of course there were going to be excessive reports. You sneeze in these people's general direction, and that's excessive force to them. Now, I realize saying that carries a strange connotation during the pandemic, but you get what I mean. A butterfly landing on them causes bruises. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability, COPA, confirmed Saturday in a statement that it is investigating numerous complaints of police conduct. COPA said it begun preliminary investigations into the most egregious complaints filed and viewed a widespread video shared on social media. Because that's how policing should be done, through social media. A veteran Chicago police officer said Saturday some police officers felt they weren't ready for Friday's protests. I have 17 years on this job. Last night was another example of how our leaders have let radicals take over. The officer said we were outnumbered, unprepared, Once again, the initial officers on scene had no helmets or shields. Coppers were getting pelted with rocks, sticks, bottles, and then shot with fireworks. And God, this just saddens me because these people, of course, are still just that, people. No matter where you come from, no matter what job you take on, you do not lose your humanity just for having different opinions or different lifestyle choices or anything of that nature. I don't get this obsession with taking away humanity from the opposing side. Officers fear the growing violence put officers' lives in danger. The lack of leadership has already gotten dozens of officers hurt. If the police aren't allowed to do what is needed, we will be burying one of our own, the veteran officer told CNN. And it's getting very close to that point. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, but I guess that they're too busy killing each other to actually try to kill a cop, because once a cop does die, we'll see just how restraint these officers have been, how much restraint these officers have been practicing these past few weeks. The incident comes 2 days after 3 NYPD officers and a top chief were injured after a clash with protesters. A 24-year-old female was arrested for striking the officers with a cane as they tried to arrest a protester, the department said. 3 officers violently attacked by protesters crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, the department said on its verified Twitter page. The officers sustained serious injuries. This is not a peaceful protest. This will not be tolerated and should not be tolerated. Everything that we can do to stop this should be done at this point. Obviously, they can't have a peaceful protest without it breaking down into riots. I would recommend a curfew for these people and a temporary ban on protests. Let the most egregious of these people continue to do harm. And I don't get why people who are actually peacefully protesting stay out there knowing that these people are doing harm to their movement. If you do not believe in rioting and believe that you are actually part of a peaceful protest, stay home for a few days. Let the evil just walk the streets and get shut down, and then once it's calmed down, go out and do your protest. Now is not the time to do so. Now is the time for all of it to be shut down, and I understand that it will be viewed as a violation of the First Amendment, but once again, the First Amendment goes the right to peacefully assemble. If even one person is throwing a stone, I don't think we should consider it peacefully assembling anymore. That about does it for me for this video. I thank you all again for watching. If you enjoyed my content, go ahead and leave a like, possibly even subscribe for more videos like this. Otherwise, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.